we need to do basics, I guess. So we need to learn some really basic movements. First is the guard on the center line. Then we'll do guard on the center and central line like we do with the hands. You have to realize that this weapon is an extension. Of what you're learning with your hands. Pretty much every technique that we use in Wing Chun, we can apply to this device. Okay. The history goes, this was developed by the Buddhist monks, the Shaolin. Being Buddhist, it's against their religion to kill. So why on earth would they have something like this? Well, let's talk about the design of the blade as well. The traditional monk sword was dull, blunt here. All the way here, all the flat of the blade was dull. Only the edge where it, on the transition of the blade, was there a blade. It wasn't a killing weapon, it was a maiming weapon. Now the political climate of the time was no weapons. You weren't allowed to carry swords if you were a person of official status. If you weren't part of the government, you weren't allowed to carry the weapons, the Manchurian government. So, often when the monks would travel from monastery to monastery or district to district, they would get attacked by bandits and thieves, what have you. Now monks were very skilled with weapons, and their most traditional weapon was their staff, their walking stick, which they would use, and they'd have ceremonial scepters and things that they could use as a weapon of self-defense. However, they're dealing with attackers that have blades, spears, what have you. Just a pole is not sufficient, yeah, especially if you're outnumbered. So they came up with a small weapon like so. This weapon could be very easily concealed in the sleeve of their robe, out of their sleeve. They also used to carry them in the back of their boots, and they could pull them out. As I said, the weapon is an extension of what you learn. So you have a tan, the punch, the bil, the gan, the jat, the bon, the lap, the striking, yeah? Obviously there has to be variation. The tando, the bildo, the gando, the jatdo, the wing, the cut, and the strike. So you can still get like this as well, which we're going to look at in a moment. An important thing is, when we're in training, we're taught to look at the elbow. The wrist now becomes the elbow because this becomes the new limb. All right? When the monks would use this weapon, or they were being attacked, they would draw their swords, they would block their opponent's initial strike, and then attack with the tip, the fingers, hands, wrists, elbows. This would again maim their opponent but wouldn't kill their attacker. Okay. Later on, when the revolutionary groups adopted this weapon, because they are part of the revolution that wanted to overthrow the Manchus, they sharpened the whole edge, which made it a much more dangerous weapon. Okay, a killing weapon. All right. First thing we're going to learn is like changing your guard on the center line. Now we need to have, now there's various guards. The two guards that we employ in this system are an open guard and a closed guard. Here, here. Okay? Now I'm going to explain the variances, but generally we're using this one. Now, it's like I'm making a V right in the center. The edge of the blade should point away from you. It's a very small movement, very small movement, very small movement. Now I want you to bend your knees, just changing the guard, changing the guard. See, Yip Man's spirit is here. He's making sure we're doing everything right, okay? Here, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, just nice fluid action. So it's very neutral, you're changing your basic guard on the center. Now we're going to do exactly the same thing, but now we change the side neutral. So we're taking this position, we turn it side on. This point, my fist, my elbow, my shoulder, my hip, my knee and my toe should make an alignment. As I change, I thread through. And make sure you're stepping your feet through. Now because you're holding something heavy, a little heavier than your arm, you are now doing weight training for your Wing Chun. It's like having a dumbbell in your hand, but instead of lifting a weight, you're incorporating Wing Chun technique but with weight. So you're strengthening your open hand techniques. Good, keep doing this. I hear people say, why learn the swords? What is the practical, just stop for a second. What is the practical reason why we should learn the swords? We can't carry swords around. You don't pull your swords out of your pocket. I get a little bit annoyed by this because the two main reasons, and I've explained one, the two main reasons for learning and continue the sword is not just the traditional value. It is weight training for your Wing Chun. Every technique that you learn, this become an extension. So you strengthen your open hand technique. The other more practical reason is, sure we don't carry swords around with us, but you put anything in your hand, I don't care what it is, a biro, your mobile phone, a plastic bottle of water, your bag, your hat, your jacket. You know how to use two arms at the same time, and someone attacks you with a weapon, you can use anything, any everyday implement to defend yourself. Yes, do you understand? It can be a mobile phone, it can be a biro. If someone's trying to attack you, you can use anything. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to the neutral stance. Now, we're going to talk about the cut. The jamdo, the slashing sword. Now, I'm just going to show you it. I reach out in the angle that I am. Now, you see the angle of my sword? Now, I reach right out. So the top of my forearm and the top of my sword is an extension. It's a line, a straight line. Imagine there's a table in front of you and there's a piece of fruit, an apple or something on top of that table. You want to cut a V off the top of that apple. So you're not cutting like this. You're cutting the angle that you're holding your sword. There's an angle occurring here. You pull your sword back to the wudo, the protecting sword. So I want you to be very slow. Do not turn your hips. And the tip of the sword should come right into your center line. Now, that other sword, if you were to hold both, if you were to do this cut properly, the swords would basically come together like this on your center. So you're cut, now touch the swords together. Yes, that's where your swords are coming. So you're reaching out, you're cutting on your sword, and pull the other one back onto the wudo. Now you replace the other sword right there. Go, cut, reach out. Now when you pull your wudo back, just watching for a second, don't be doing this over your ear and over your shoulder. Look at where my arm goes back to. All right, good. Nice fluid action. Keep your knees bent. All right, so now we introduce the changing side neutral. Okay, so it's here. Try this now, changing side neutral. Don't rush. Look at your striking sword, looking at your defending sword. Take time to acknowledge both positions, that you're in the right position. Don't move from there. Yeah? On the angle, and this in the center. Now, this is some very basic defense, and we're doing the basic cuts now. We've done both positions. Now we're going to talk about the grip a little. How do we grip it? We grip it like we have a fist. We need a strong, tight grip. If you've fallen off a ledge and you grab onto this and it's the only thing holding you, you need a tight grip, yes? But then you need to be able to pull yourself up. So you need to have, and what I mean by that is, there's a contradiction that occurs when people start using the swords. Everyone just hold their swords up. Now, grip the swords hard as you can. Now, ask yourself, are you tensing the whole arm as you're gripping? And the ways that I'm saying that is you need to have a tight grip, but you need to be able to use your arm. If you tighten up your grip, often what happens is the whole arm tenses up. Now tighten your grip and then just relax your arm and do some things with your arm. But keep your grip tight. Now point out your sword all the way out like you're reaching. Imagine there's a button. You're going to the elevator, yeah? You press the button. Yeah. You keep the grip. Now, you look at the action of my hand. When I do that with my wrist, watch my wrist. You see that action that's occurring? Have you ever seen something like that before? This movement? Have you seen Buji form? When you're doing this movement. So you're strengthening your wrist as well. When you play this, when you train this action, you're strengthening. You also have it with the phoenix. So you feel all the ligament here, up your top of, yeah, just one more. So you feel that ligament all the way up there, yeah? Yep. So you're stretching it and you're strengthening it. All right, now, so you need a strong grip, but a maneuverable arm that you can then work your techniques. If you have, often, the reason I'm saying this is often when we start doing rotations, people start loosening their grips because they want to be able to rotate, and the fingers at the bottom. We're going to look at rotations in a minute, but first, we're going to look at applying the two techniques we started with. That basic position, which is a block, and that basic cut. All right, Marie, come over. All right, so Marie's just going to go in a neutral stance. I want you just to start cutting. Now, what are our targets? She's trying to chop me in the neck or something? No, the first target, put your hands up, Marie. Just change, yeah, put your hands up like this. Now change hands. So I want these guys to see. I'm not going to try to cut here. I'm going to try to cut there. That's my first target. Remember I said the apple on the table? That's the apple on the table. I want to cut that part of her hand with the tip of my weapon. Why the tip? Because all the power runs all the way to the tip. It's like a whip. When you do your punch, it's the same action. Same action. And I want to whack. But Marie doesn't want me to do that. All right, so change your hand, Marie. Now Marie wants to cut my hand with the back sword. Go. Yeah, okay. Take it back again. Now do it again. Do it again. You'll go the other side now. Now she has to create a larger movement. It's a longer movement, you understand? This is a shorter movement. So we're going to play these two techniques together now. When she goes to cut my hand, and don't turn your body, just keep your center line. We're just learning to identify. Now, remember, your eyes are focusing at your opponent's wrist now, not the elbow. Because this becomes the new limb, and we see it from here. All right? Okay, do you guys want to pair up together? Start in a neutral stance, and just start changing this, training this technique. Okay, so you want to cut first? Yep. Good. Just checking if you're aiming for my a little bit. Yeah. Now, guys, I want you just to, I want a fluid action, but I want you to be conscious of what your target is. If Marie puts her hand up, that's my target. She needs to change. That's my target. Now, see how she, yes, you need to have your swords up. Elbows in, swords up. Oh, careful, well, hand sword up, that's it.